Hello everyone. I know I'm sat at a bit of an angle, a bit of an odd angle. Not a very good Pilates angle, I'm hunched. But that's because the camera is ready to be filming what I'm going to be doing with these. So we did a foot release yesterday. Today we're going to be doing, where do all these bits come from? We're going to be doing a hand release, okay? So as I said yesterday, you can use a spiky ball. That might be a bit intense on your hands, so unless you really need a deep tissue massage in certain parts of the hand, tennis ball is absolutely fine. So here's my little friend Slaz, been keeping me company during this isolation. And first of all, I have to give a little bit of a shout out to my lovely friend Linda Monk, who runs the Freckle Boutique. They're on Facebook for these gorgeous Dreamcatcher joggers, which have got a really good stretch in them. They're dead comfy. So, hand release. Now, if you've been doing a lot more work with your hands, so whether that's making your own bread, a bit more gardening, housework, working from home, so lots of typing, etc., decorating, DIY, anything like that where you're gripping, you might be starting to feel some pain in your hands, in your wrist, it might be travelling up your forearms, you might even be getting some pain in your elbow. So if we can do some release work on there, that might well help you to feel a little bit better. So I'm doing this down on the mat, but you could do this sat up at a table, at a desk. If you've got a lap tray, you could do it while you're sat watching telly, or even a big book. Okay, so we're going to start just by taking the palm of the hand on. So similar to when we did the foot release. Okay. So just pressing on and feeling what's happening in your hand. So I am now starting to feel a little bit of a change of sensation. I'm going to start to roll around the palm of the hand. Now, really important that you get into the underneath of these knuckles. Okay, so into this bit here. So roll through there, through where those joints are. Okay, if you do have a specific circulatory or neurological condition though, you might want to check with your healthcare provider if this is safe and appropriate for you to do first. Okay, and important that you keep your fingers lengthened while you do this, because what we're trying to get is some release and some stretch, because if you've been working hard with your hands, they're going to have been in a curled and gripped position. So we need to try and get them to do the opposite. So all the way through and round. And similarly, if you've got arthritis in your hand, you might want to do this, but maybe not press on as hard, just take it nice and lightly. Now we're going to focus on the thumb, that fleshy part of the thumb. Okay, I want you to knead into that area. Okay, circle it round. So don't tense the hands straight, but try and have the fingers lengthened. They will want to just curl in. Try and keep them out straight. Now the thumb, this muscle in the thumb, when we grip things, that's when we can start to get problems with the elbow joint, because that's where it connects to, and that's when people get things like tennis elbow. So tennis elbow, it's not from the impact of hitting the ball, it's from gripping the tennis racket handle. Okay, so let's go round the other way. Now what we want to be really careful of when we're working on hands is that in the inside of your wrist there are lots of blood vessels and nerve endings. Okay, so we don't want to put pressure onto those. So now I'm going to go down the thumb and back again. So I'm going from tip of the thumb to the start of the wrist, so don't go into the actual wrist itself. Now you might want to add in a little bit of a twisting motion. So you go down the side of the thumb and then the front of the thumb. Okay, now we're going to start to go down the fingers. And this is where you can get a really good stretch into those fingers. So can you see how they're flexing the other way? I'm letting them push down and feeling a good stretch underneath those fingers. Now, if this does bring on any symptoms, any funny sensations, might be advisable to stop. And maybe when you get the opportunity, go and just see somebody about that. Okay, so that's the first 2 fingers done. So now we're going to go into 4th finger, little finger. Focus a bit more on your ring finger because we don't actually tend to do an awful lot with our little finger unless you're a really good typist. Okay, you're probably not using your little finger. I bet most of you are like my kids and just one digit. So just running all the way along. And let's get into that little finger a bit, just because I want to get into the side of the hand. So if you've been gripping, get the side of the hand too. Now, I'm going to go along the side of the arm. So I'm turning and I'm going into the wrist a little bit more now. So along the edge of the little finger and back. So you can come further to the elbow if you want. Really move that out. And in, and then turn just a little bit onto the back. So not right onto the back of the hand and the wrist, but sort of onto the back of the little finger. And in. So yeah, anytime we're using tools, paintbrushes, trowels, washing up brush, we're gripping. Pencils, pens, keyboards, holding a mobile phone, you're gripping. So we know that when we're doing other exercises in Pilates, if we've been contracting a muscle, we need to give it a good stretch, but how often do we do that with our hands? Now I'm going to go back into the palm and I'm going to focus a little bit more on near my thumb, because I felt that that bit needed a bit more work. And I feel now that I can actually relax my fingers without them curling. So they are feeling quite a bit better. I'm going to take them into there as well, because that's where it felt like it needed a bit more work. And then I'm just going to press on, let the hand relax and release. Oh, that feels so much better. I was actually getting quite a bit of tension. So from my arthritis, I think from doing a lot of 4-point stuff and a lot of extra housework and things, my hand was getting quite sore, and that's really worked wonders. So we're going to do that with the other hand.